What the hell was that? Packers lose to the Eagles 22 to 10. This game wasn't really close. Both teams started slow, but the Packers started slower, and they didn't do anything in this game really. I expected this to happen. I expected them to lose by I expected them to get a couple of garbage time touchdowns to make it seem close, but they didn't even really do that. I expected them to lose. If you've watched them and see how they played against good teams, you shouldn't be surprised if you're being honest. And this overall was just an embarrassment. Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions. I'm not so sure about him right now. And this next season, 2025, is going to be probably the most important season since the late Rodgers years. So, probably the most important season in Love's career so far, and maybe even LaFleur's career. Um, with Love right now, he's a quarterback that he can win against bad to average teams, but against good teams and in the playoffs, it doesn't look like he can. And so he's got to make a step forward in 2025. This year, I kind of expected them to be a good but not great team. I thought they were just a year away. I predicted them to go 11-6, which is what exactly they did, and I expected them to win a playoff game. Which this year it's understandable because the NFC is much tougher this year, so I wouldn't consider that a failure. Love wasn't as good as he was down the stretch last year. Statistically, he was worse, although I think that's a little misleading because he was out for 2 games and 2 other games he was out for the second half. So if he was healthy the full year, he probably would have had around the same stats as last year, probably like 30 touchdowns to 12 or 13 picks. So he probably would have been statistically around the same last year. Although this year he wasn't elite like he was down the stretch. That's for sure. For sure. So I don't think this season's like a complete failure. It went around as what it around about as what as I expected it to be. I expected them to be a decent to average team, maybe even a good team, but not a great team. I thought they were just too young, which it looks like it is. They aren't there yet. But 2025, they better step up, and I think it'll tell a lot. I think two things will happen. Either two things will happen. Either A, they become the next Dallas Cowboys and Miami Dolphins with Tua and Mike McDaniel, or McCarthy and Dak Prescott. They'll be a team where they can win you some games in the regular season, but in the playoffs they can't do it. And that's and their ceiling would be winning a playoff game. That's what one option. Second option, they become the Bills or the Ravens. They make a leap and they become a Super Bowl contender. Right now, it's too early to tell. I don't think you can say they're on the right track, but I don't think you can say they're a failure yet. And it's going to tell a lot about Love and LaFleur and the progression of this team. I will say this: the defense has been definitely improved. They're definitely there. They haven't been at fault most of the time this year. There were some moments where you're like, that's ugly, but overall, this defense is good, and it turns out the offense is what sold them this year. So next year, they better take a leap and become a contender, and we'll see if they do. But as of right now, they're not there yet.